Genevieve Jacobs from Region Media in the National Portrait Gallery, where all sorts of ideas about portraiture are being turned on their head, shaken upside down and examined pretty closely. Portrait 23 Identity has been curated by Rebecca Ray, who's First Nations curator here at the NPG. Rebecca, this is a real challenge to what a lot of people presume the Portrait Gallery is all about. Tell me about the exhibition.
Yeah, so the exhibition is, as you said, a really unconstrained and looking at the boundaries of portraiture and how we can flip them. And what we did, we went out to 23 artists and collectives and across Australia and looked at contemporary practice and what artists are doing today and where portraiture may lead us. So the artists have created, as you can see, textiles and paintings, 2D works, sculptural, that we've got works outside. So it's really this quite interrogation of portraiture and its constraints and its boundaries and what does that mean. And when we pull it all apart and unravel it, what we have is the essence of identity, which is how we come up with Portrait 23 Identity. Through art, we're able to tell harder stories, I guess, and you can see that around in some of the works. While they're joyous and they're bright and they're contemporary, they do have these interrogations of identity and culture and national sensibilities and things like this as well. But a very exciting show, very exciting contemporary artists across Australia. 23 artists and collectives, so actually more artists because we've got the collectives, collaborations. It's a fantastic exhibition that I think it's just so exciting and so contemporary and something that we've never seen at the Portrait Gallery before. Oh,
completely one of the things we haven't seen at the Portrait Gallery before. One of those artists is Dylan Mooney, who's also with me. And Dylan, the fascinating thing about this work of yours is that it really is an amazing intersection between classical drawing, really, classical portrait drawing, front-on, side-on portraits of people in fine-grained, beautifully detailed pencil work, but overlaid across that, some really bog-standard, everyday Aboriginal English. Tell me about these works.
Yeah, so with these works, I really wanted to go back, I guess, to my origins and my roots and where I first started within my art career. Drawing and paper was like one of my first mediums I've ever used, so I really wanted to take that back because I've moved into the digital illustration space at the moment. So, and I think that's what a lot of people know me for. So, so the people that I've used are people that I've connected with through the years and who are also within the arts industry and very prominent artists. Like Kyra Mangtalo, Tony Albert, Thea Perkins, and
you, Dylan. That's you, second from the left.
I wouldn't call myself prominent. I've overlaid text over the portraits, so it's ochre that I've collected from up in North Queensland, where I'm from, and I've just put Aboriginal English, everyday words that is spoken within I guess our communities, and where we can travel all up and down the coast of Queensland, and we can connect straight away. When we use those words and those languages, it's what grounds us to our culture, and what grounds us to each other as well.
Sally Smart's with me in front of an installation that certainly does challenge the very notion of portraiture and what it is, but might also be your family, if that includes a goat. Sally, tell me what we're looking at.
Yes, it is the artist's family, but it's actually, there are some members of the family, quite literally, but then there's also the idea of the artist's family as an extension, as an artist, the family of art, in a sense. So I've sort of combined the two, and I've used the sort of model of the puppet, the hand puppet actually, as a sort of way to engage with this sort of relationship of dialogue between these particular family members, with a whole lot of different methodologies for making as well.
Well, let's dwell on that for a moment, because there's all sorts of work here. We've got fabric, we've got text and embroidery, imagery, and then these really heavy, really purposeful bronze heads as well. But there is something of the handmade puppet. There is something of the idea of bringing different elements together to make something that takes on a life of its own.
Well, I guess part of the artist family is the fact that I do use all this family of sort of material and materiality that does have but is all conceptually organised, if you like. So there's a sister there's a son, there's the artist, there's a mutter, a mother, but it's actually more of an expressionist mother I've chosen. But I was using the idea of the bronze as well because it's a legacy material.
Tell me about the goat. Just tell me what the goat's doing in there.
The goat is actually something I've used for a long time, the goat in my work. It's been in various sort of dance works that I've used. And also the goat, interestingly, is also has a lot of mythological connection. And so some of the everyday, the family, but also the mythological are in this work as well. So I had to have the goat. And I grew up on a sheep property up in the far north of South Australia, so there were a few goats.
Thanks, Sally. And if you thought that this exhibition really challenged the notion of portraiture, perhaps that is nowhere better exemplified than in Vippu Sivalasa's work, which is, it's fabulous, Vippu. It's so cheery, it's amazing.
Thank you.
So tell me about this, because it is actually portraiture. This is all real people's images of themselves.
Yes, they are, because, during the lockdown, I feel so sad. I couldn't talk to my friends, I couldn't see anyone, so I thought maybe I could make something happy. And this project come along, so I decided to make Happy Australian series. I asked people to send me the design of their most extravaganza dress that they could wear on the happiest day of their life. And they sent me so many designs, and I chose 10, which is really hard, from 85. And each of them has a personal story come with the design. And at the same time, I also incorporate my idea, my interpretation, and my story into the pieces as well.
These are such joyous pieces. There are people in here wearing saucers and crocheted daisies and
bugs and then flowers, gum trees, and also like fairy bread skirt.
I don't know how you would make a fairy bread skirt. I'm not sure how that works. But they're also really finely detailed, finely wrought porcelain works. So the intricacy of this, of the glaze, of the firing, of the process, is really, really finely detailed, but so exuberant.
Yeah, it is. I love them. I like making fine detail because I'm addicted to phone. So making artwork and making fine detail get me away from the phone.
Okay, so it's as simple as that. And look, that says it all about this exhibition. It's so diverse. It's so beautiful.
You've got to come and see it in person.
Absolutely. Do come and see it in person on here, Portrait 23 Identity at the National Portrait Gallery, with a huge range of works that really ask lots of questions about who you make a portrait of, how you make a portrait, and what that portrait will look like. Well worth your time. I'm Genevieve Jacobs, and this is Region Media.